Oh, look. Everybody enjoy the owl. Welcome to 2026. How are you? I'm awesome. I'm excited to be here. How about you? So for everybody who registered, thank you. It's great to have you back. Let me see what you have to say. Thank you, Michelle. Welcome back to you. And yeah, Happy New Year to one and all. Hi, Kat Gray. Welcome, Kristen. Hello. I have you on my list, actually, young lady. Year of the Fire Horse. It is indeed, Kat, a very powerful year. You know, a fire horse. By gee, if you let that fire horse get away from you, you're in big trouble. So I was just having a little bit of entertainment there to find that it wasn't showing up on YouTube, which would have everyone running around going what to do. But, you know, when you register, you don't have that problem. So we're going to be talking about something super special tonight, and it's a great way to enter into the new year. And you might be thinking, well, we're already 13 days in. Well, I'm going to ask you, how much of last year have you already dragged in like a little red heavy backpack into this year? So see, when I say that, then it's not too late to be delving into this really deep topic. You're not learning tonight. You're going deep. You're not going higher, you're going deep. Tonight we're going to talk about divine wisdom, worldly wisdom. And what is it about divine wisdom for everyday life that can make such a difference in your life? We still have more than 340 days left of this year. Who's counting? So you still have a whole lot of time to really decide that you would like to take yourself deeper into living your life through divine wisdom. Oh, Liz McDonald, hello and welcome. Callum Rocks, love that. Hi, Callum, and welcome. Tonight's episode of Soul and Beyond, if you let this sit with you, is going to be a fantastic stepping stone for you to carry through this year. And it will really make a huge difference for you. We have intellect, right? We have the brain, the mind, and we're trained. We are trained from the get-go on how to use our brain. How many times did you ever hear, oh, don't be silly, that was stupid, do it like this? So what do we learn from that? Sometimes we learn to step away. Sometimes we learn we're not good enough because that was silly, that was stupid. Hi, Buff Sook, welcome. And many things that we learn at the start really set us up for failure. They set us up for not knowing how to love ourselves, how to really step into our own divinity. Oh, heaven forbid if schools brought that in, but schools belong in the system, so they're not designed, and the system is certainly not interested in helping you be aligned with your divinity, let alone, and here comes a big word that will maybe make some of you go away. I know that my beautiful regular followers, it won't. If this word makes you go away, then thanks for being here for the first few minutes, and that's perfectly fine with me. The word is God. So being able to be in divine union and being able to accept God's grace, to even ask to be in God's grace. These are things that the schooling system and every other thing of the system Do not allow. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, we're not here to reach for anything tonight. We're not here to learn something with the mind. We're here to be able to take ourselves into a space that is reaching inward to your divine spark, and also reaching to the place where you can access divine wisdom. So what I'd like you to do as we explore divine wisdom is bring yourself into the space you're in. Let's arrive here. Let's arrive into this space, and let's arrive into your body. Take 3 beautiful, beautiful breaths and feel yourself arrive. When you do this, it means that you set yourself back a little from the hurriedness of the day, the worries, the stresses, the demands, time constraints. So let's just bring you in and let yourself settle. Settle into the space around you by acknowledging the noises. Acknowledge what you can hear around you. Let them flow, and you be in the space that you are sitting in. As you journey with me tonight, I ask that you maintain your posture, because we are going to go deep. We're going to look at some things in a different way. And as you lift your posture, it means you lengthen your spine. It means you give yourself space. You open space within you. You also breathe differently, which takes in a different frequency to the cells of the body, giving you more oxygen, giving you more vitality, and more than anything, lifts you into the purpose of what we're going to come into this evening. Melanie, oh my gosh, hello to you, beautiful. What a thrill to have you here. Happy New Year, darling. And hey there, big time. Welcome from Zimbabwe. Very nice to have you here. Samurai Master, Yoda. Very nice. Well, thank you very much for that compliment. You can do your shout out to your friend Philip Myers. So tonight we're going to explore divine wisdom. This is not something that you visit in meditation, but it's something that's integral within you. Divine wisdom moves through you, every part of you. When you soften enough to listen and feel, you will know it. But the thing is, you don't have to be in meditation to do this, to feel this, to know it. You don't have to be in any special place like the top of a mountain, hiking, anything. You can step into this at any moment, any time. Nothing shared with you tonight is to be taken on. Instead, it's about noticing. It's noticing what comes forward, not here, but in your body, your whole being. So to help you embody this, I ask that you make sure your feet are on the floor, your spine is long. You breathe in through your nose, you breathe out through your nose. And if you wish to make them a longer expression of the breath, you work with what your body calls for. We're going to let silence do some of the work tonight too. So there will be some pauses. Worldly wisdom. Let's start with that. So worldly wisdom is the intellect. It's what you learn. It's about navigating your way in every day, whether you ride a bike, you walk, you catch a bus, you drive, you catch a train, you ride a boat. Wherever you're going, you're using worldly wisdom in your way of transport, navigating tickets, times, all that sort of thing is worldly wisdom. Going to the shops, having a conversation on a normal level is using your intellect. The only time people generally use a different part of the worldly wisdom is when they're very emotional. Anger, frustration, annoyance, resentment. That is actually another part of worldly wisdom. Seems Lisa Berry, hello and welcome. It is very much different. Your worldly wisdom is different to divine wisdom. If we interplay the word God and divine, we are looking at God's wisdom. Divine wisdom. Hiya, Lorraine, and welcome. Divine wisdom is where we choose to ask to see through the eyes of God. Everything around you, everything has the component of God. After all, He is the creator. He, take it however you like, the creator. So everything has His touch. So as you look around, if you choose to see God in everything, you will find God in everything. And if you look to yourself in the mirror and decide to ask to see the divine essence of you, and you let yourself do that without judgment, do that without pointing fingers or criticism, you'll be surprised what you see. More so, you'll be surprised what you feel. Somebody sent me, it's not somebody, pardon me, a beautiful marketing lady sent me feedback about my voice, like the way I talk, what I talk about. She had actually asked AI to give feedback. And when I was reading what this AI machine had sent back to her, it sat in my chest and in my solar plexus like a radiant star. And I could not believe what a machine wrote when it went trawling through my website, through my YouTube channel and Facebook. I was astounded and I was deeply humbled. So looking at how you live every day, how you react. Do you react or do you respond to circumstance, conversation, situations? When you've been embracing deep inner work, you learn to step back. You learn not to react. You learn to respond instead. You learn to become the observer. So it's really very different. Now let's step that a little deeper into the ways of being able to access divine wisdom. When we're looking at divine wisdom, we're looking at spiritual moral guidance. We're looking at spiritual insights and revelations. Not from your higher self, but from God. Now, as I said earlier, if that word doesn't resonate with you, you'll be long gone, and that's fine with me. People who know me well know why I do not use the word universe and why I am explicit with who I am conversing and whom I wish to be aligned with. And one time in a channeled session of my own, what was asked was that I be in divine union. And then it was asked that I teach divine union. So when I reference the word divine, we are looking at spiritual, moral guidance, insights, and revelations, creativity, direct from God. Now, one of my beautiful ladies that is here tonight asked quite a while ago now about guides and angels, and why would we go to guides and angels or even ancestors and not go direct to God? I just want to segue this a moment, because people who are of the Christian faith have been taught that they must, and I'm not sure about the Roman Catholic faith, they must go to Jesus Christ. They must not go direct to God. Jesus Christ is known as the Saviour and the gateway to God. That's for your afterlife. You can call upon Jesus Christ for healing at times of despair, and that, unfortunately, is the most common time that people do call upon Jesus Christ, and what they do with God is blame God for everything that's not right, for their despair, for their loss, for whatever's happening. Is that right? Until you come to know what prayer really is. Prayer is your way of conversing, having a chat with God. And you can request spiritual, moral guidance. You can request his insights, revelations to help you along your daily path. So if you go from the meditation cushion to the kitchen sink, most often you get up off the meditation cushion, it's like, poof, that's that done for the day now. Now then, what have I got to do? And you go straight here, straight into the worldly wisdom. And yes, I hear you. Of course, we have children to look after, spouses, partners. We have work to attend. We have kitchens to clean. That's our human life, right? And that's what life is. It's got all that in it. But imagine if you were living as one in that human doing and divine alignment, divine union. Wow, I can tell you from experience, things get done faster. Things you've been avoiding, you're suddenly doing and they're done. And you wonder why. Why was I worried or fussed about doing that? Why was I putting it off? Procrastination is a whole other topic. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Good to see you tonight. So, seeing the world through God's eyes, to live a fulfilled life. Almost we could say to live a divine life. Now, if you are often here in your head, if you are caught up in the trappings and the sewer of this world, then you're going to have a lot of issues with finding peace, with finding harmony, and with being well. You'll find that you've often got something going amiss, putting on weight, losing weight, having some sort of illness, some sort of issue going on in the body, because you're too much here instead of giving yourself the time for stillness, for prayer. So the messages of the divine are not just for meditation, and they're not just sought in meditation. They are for everyday transformation. And if you learn to embody them fully, then you live a richer, healthier, and when I say richer, if you immediately went to money, then you went straight here. But if you felt it, if you felt richer. So you have a richness through the body. You have a richness in your energy. You have an energy that is magnetic for people that are deeply compassionate, very kind, very loving, very happy, who see the world as a beautiful place. When you carry richness in your energy, you find the way that you get served at places, the way people interact with you changes immensely. And you also find when you carry richness through divine union in every aspect of your being, that things you think about, things you would like in your life, whether it be happiness, whether it be harmony, whether it be more money, it happens. It happens because you are carrying the richness of divine union. Every time you slip to here and you fret about something that's going on supposedly around you in the world, the other side of the world, then you've slipped into the sewer, and there's certainly no richness in there. And what do you do? One of the beautiful ladies on here messaged me about something that's taken place here in Perth. And I'm going to say to you what I expressed back again to her. If this is something you feel deeply passionate about and you would like to see it change, then you have to be prepared to fight. If you're going to step into that arena and fight for change, fight for justice, fight for whatever it is that you feel needs to be different in whatever that issue is, then you better be prepared to go the long haul and to forego every bit of peace and every bit of harmony, because you don't have any of that when you're fighting. And then if you're not prepared to step into that arena, then best you say a prayer, a mantra, and you let it go and you move on with your life. Now, a lot of people can't understand that. And that's why those people have a lot of difficulty in their life and a lot of difficulty getting out of here. Because there's yes, but. Yeah, yes, but. And where does that get you? Nowhere. And where does it get you to be worrying, fretting, getting angry over something that is part of the system? You will only do yourself a lot of harm, and you come right away from being able to access divine wisdom. A moral compass. That's what divine wisdom gives you. A moral compass like no other. A moral compass that can hold you steadfast in any situation, that can be your compass out of the darkness, out of anything that's going on in your life. And it can also help you be able to move past things that are not directly in your life, but are having some kind of impact around you. So divine union, divine wisdom, if you looked at it as a moral compass that you could hold in your heart or hold in your center. And I'm going to ask you now to place your right hand over your heart, your left hand over your stomach. And you're going to close your eyes and ask, what is it that divine wisdom would have me know right now? What is it that divine wisdom would have me know right now? You see, your body is a living oracle. Your body is your greatest messenger to let you know when you are not in alignment, when you are not using that moral compass that is a direct alignment with God. And your body is the translator of divine wisdom. But divine wisdom is never loud. Sometimes I'm pretty sure it wishes it could scream at some people, but it doesn't work that way. Divine wisdom is subtle, it's gentle, it's peaceful. Meantime, you're wrangling in your head, I don't know, getting caught up in whatever is really none of your business because it's not directly in your life. Now, I can hear people saying, well, how can we change the world if we don't know what's going on? How can we be an instrument for peace if we don't step it up, if we don't say this shouldn't happen? You do that through divine union. For those who ask that question, then I'm going to say that they are not in tune with their own soul and definitely not in tune with the divine. Because when you are, you don't ask those kind of questions. You know how to be the instrument that brings change. Oh, but I'm only one person. What difference could I possibly make? Well, Jesus Christ was one person. And that's all people knew him to be, was a fellow human being. He didn't come down with his wings. He didn't turn up with a big crown of heaven. He was a man. Buddha was a man. And then there are all the saints. Oh, how many saints are they? They were all men, or there have been a few women, but they were living human beings. And look at the difference they made. Simply by being in their presence, people talked about the energy, the sense of calm, of peace. Martin Luther King Jr. was one man, and what did he want? He succeeded. Gandhi was one man. Even Princess Diana, as far as we know, one person of royalty whom never came close to the very, very ordinary person, especially persons with disease. When I was nursing here at Royal Perth Hospital and I was in the theatres, I'll give you a real life example from my own lived experience. We were finishing up in a surgery, and there was loud shouting and objections and all sorts of things, fighting basically going on outside the theatre door. The surgeon couldn't get his gloves off fast enough, and when he went out there, he went nuts. What was going on was other theatre staff, scrubs like me, anaesthetic technicians, anaesthetist assistants, were fighting over the top of a patient. They were on either side of the trolley with the patient in the middle, and they were fighting about who was going to be the assistant, the scrub, and the anaesthetic assistant over this person. They did not name him. They didn't talk about him as a human being, but over this person who's got AIDS. The surgeon was disgusted. He sent them all to the head office of the senior sister of the operating theatres. I came out, I could hear all of this. I came out and I said to the surgeon, as I placed my hand on the patient, a young man whose name I do not recall, and I would not say it in this situation anyway, but I placed my hand on him and I looked at the surgeon and him and I said, I will be the scrub for this young man. I was one person, whereas the rest of my colleagues all gang together in sheep mentality and performed badly, very badly. That young man came back to theatre another time, and by this time he was blind because of the effect of AIDS. And they needed a nurse from theatre to take him down for a CT scan. And once again, it was me that put my hand up, and I'm not looking for your accolades. I'm sharing a real life lived experience about the effect one person can have. People think that we need to be in droves, we need to be in hordes. Well, that's the sheep mentality. That's the followers mentality. Those who are in divine light, who are in divine union, are not in big crowds. They go about things fairly quietly. I haven't always known to be quiet when I've been fighting for someone else or stepping up for justice. But one person, you, can make a huge difference when you embrace divine wisdom. Remember that everything you think, everything you speak, goes out on the web of the tapestry of the world, and it's received. It's received in many locations. So if you could imagine yourself walking around as a compass, a moral compass of divine wisdom, can you feel what effect you would have as you walked around? You can try it every day. You can try it by the way that you think before you go out, before you get in your car to drive. You can try it by what you set in your energy field. And most importantly, what you wish to extend from your heart. But this isn't something you can do like, I don't know, reading a newspaper. Oh, who would do that in their right mind? Reading some garbage on Facebook or other social media platforms. It's not going to get you there. It's not going to take you into divine wisdom. What is going to take you into divine wisdom is being very present with everything you are doing, setting your intention, going to prayer, reading things that are about divine union, having a spiritual mentor if you can't quite get there. And that's a nice little opportunity for me. If you need or are ready to be guided, to know beyond doing courses, reading books, then I very much welcome you to join me with our beautiful members of the Spiritual School of H.E.A.L. You can find the link for that on my website, which is healwithgwenda.com. I think there's also a link in the description on the YouTube channel. So let's have a look at from meditation cushion to the kitchen sink in looking at ways that you can embrace divine wisdom over the kitchen sink. You can choose truth over pleasing. So instead of pleasing someone else when it's not really what you want to do, choose truth. And that means choosing truth in the way you speak, the way you hold yourself. Did you know that? When you are in a place of truth, your posture changes. Your face changes. You surely all know you can tell when someone's not telling the truth, especially someone that's close to you, right? So think about yourself, choosing truth over pleasing other people. Are you a people pleaser? Have you had a look in to see what that's really about for you? Responding instead of reacting, which I was talking about before. So when we react, we jump in or we retract, stop talking, don't message anymore, don't want to participate, don't want to play. That's reacting. And it's reacting from the child within, the child who's hurt, the child who feels not worthy, not good enough, never really fitted in, drawing away in anger or feeling hurt. But instead of looking and going, why am I reacting that way? We harbour those behaviours. Whereas when you take a breath and a pause back, you have a look at yourself, then you decide how you're going to respond rather than react. Eating, working, and resting all in alignment. So, how do you go about your day with your eating? And when your body's really tired, or your mind, your worldly intellect is tired, do you listen? Do you take a break and have a rest? And what do you do to rest? Do you scroll? Do you have a screen on of some kind? It's not resting. So you're not in alignment. Now, for those of you who are new, you might be a bit shocked, but the fact is I don't fluff and I don't mess around. I'm very to the point. Being a theatre nurse, being a nurse taught me a lot about that. Letting boundaries be a spiritual practice. You know, children these days aren't taught boundaries pretty much, quite often. Different kind of parenting these days. However, boundaries are something that need to be taught because we don't automatically know them. We know instead to people please. We know instead to sulk. We know instead to withdraw. We know instead to compromise our own values. We know instead how to harbour and carry hurt, sorrow, disappointment. None of those things place you in spiritual alignment. None of those things offer you the opportunity of having sacred boundaries and making boundaries a spiritual practice. You know, I went to yoga this morning, and you don't do yoga, you practice yoga. You can't ever do yoga because yoga is about rooting down into knowing how to be in silence in your body and how to feel into your body and what's going on. And then up the ante, yoga is very much about coming into the oneness. And what's that? Another word for divine wisdom. So you can never do yoga. You practice, because just like boundaries, the wording is it's a spiritual practice. Are we always looking to be practicing to be living our best life? I can tell you that for as long as you're here and all you're doing is wanting to soak up knowledge, soak up information, then you're doing life rather than practicing the ways and the pathways to be in that spiritual compass, in that moral God's compass that can guide you and that can be everything. It can lift you out of anywhere, bring you clarity, gift you vitality. It's amazing. How's your body feeling right now? I want you to take a moment, take a few breaths, and just check in with your body. As you've been listening to me, what are you feeling now? And what's your body saying? Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I want to move. Oh, I need to go to the toilet. What is your body telling you? Divine wisdom is pure. It's peaceful. It's gentle. It's kind. and it has an amazing energy about it. It helps you live your life in a way that is more fulfilling than buying a new pair of shoes, a new handbag, a new spouse. There is nothing quite like it when you let divine wisdom guide you in your life. Now, you have another, 340 days? 343 days to be able to take more of this divine wisdom and let it guide you. And you're going to practice that every day. Stillness. You know, a lady was talking to me the other day about the spiritual school of Wesh and saying that the timing doesn't work. And it made me smile even as it does now. People can always make time for meeting friends, having a coffee, sitting down, scrolling through Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, watching the news, flicking channels on the TV, sitting with friends, drinking coffee and gossiping. I don't know. They've got plenty of time for that. They also have plenty of money for that. But when it comes to asking them to participate in stillness, participate in silence, to go inwards into their body and find the divine spark, go inwards into their body and find out what the message is the body is bringing forward. No, they haven't got time. There's no time for that. The timing's not right. Definitely not in alignment. We could say life is about priorities. However, when being in God's wisdom, divine wisdom, being in divine union is not a priority, then life becomes very difficult, very heavy, many burdens, many worries. I know which path I prefer. How about you? Oh, Mandy Young, hello. Yes, Liz, peace. Still. That's right, Karen. Yeah. So if you would like your money riches to change this year, then take up looking more at having that moral compass be in your heart and be led by God's divine wisdom. If you're looking at having more peace, then make the time to be in stillness and in silence. If you've got time to dedicate to, I don't know, a walking group, a hobby, I don't know, all sorts of things, then you've got time to sit for 10 minutes with yourself and God. Money is an interesting topic. It's once again about our priorities. And if money is an obstacle for you, then you need to be having a look at where is your reason for lack and swap it out for being in divine guidance. Let riches come to you and let richness be everything within you. You like that? Allow riches to come to you and hold richness in every aspect of yourself. So, well, thank you, Tony Taylor. And you're very welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm just going to share what Tony has to say there. So if you think of your body as a living oracle, wow, you know, as titles go, I could come under the title of being an oracle. But if you were to think about your body as being a living oracle, my gosh, what could it tell you? What could it tell you? Oh, it would tell you all sorts of things that maybe things you don't want to know. I was training a personal training client this morning, and she was telling me about her knee, and she did tell me about her knee a couple of times. So this morning I asked her, what is it that you don't want to let go of, that your ego is so determined to hang on to? And she looked straight at me and said, I don't know. So we will be taking that journey to find out what it is, because every pain, every illness, every kind of difficulty in your body has some kind of emotional basis. And it has a reason for being there. So if you welcome your body as a living oracle, oh my gosh, it could keep you busy for years coming to know yourself very differently and coming to know all the stuff you've hoarded in your body over the years. Are you able to stand up straight, or do you have a dowager's hump or a curled over body? Wow, if you visited your body on a regular basis and asked it to show you, what have I hoarded there? What have I been keeping there? And let it speak to you, oh, you would be amazed. You know, they have those shows where they go into people's homes that are hoarders. Well, guess what? Most people do that with their body, and they just don't know it. What do? They go looking for a tablet, they go looking for a treatment. And yes, sometimes those things are necessary just to give yourself a bit of breathing space. I can tell you that the pain I had after the extractions of my teeth, there was no way that I could rest without some help with analgesics, natural analgesics. Then a hammer sounded like a good idea on some days, but I know what it was about. I know why the pain was so intense. Sometimes we need to give ourselves more time. So think about what you spend your time doing. And this is the best excuse of all. Oh, I'm so tired after being at work. I haven't got time for anything else. It's always a choice. It's always a choice. That's the beauty of being in this life. You have choice. You have choice all the time, no matter what anyone says. You have a choice. Tony Taylor says we are all magical portals if only we believe. Oh, you are spot on. Spot on. So meditation opens the channel, the portal, and life is where the change, the transmission is integrated. Sorry about this is not the right channel for that. So the soul whispers and the body conforms. Did you hear that? The soul whispers, the body conforms. Now, if you are leading your life from your head, from your worldly wisdom, you cannot hear the whispers of your soul. Your body will only be able to show you where it's out of alignment with your soul. Choice, always a choice. So remember, the body is the translator of divine wisdom. So what can you implement today, if it's daytime for you, or even if it's heading into the evening? What is one thing that you could embrace, one small thing that you could embrace that would let you step into receiving and being in divine wisdom? They're really very simple things. So we come to the close of our first Soul and Beyond for the year. And I'm going to ask you to remember you were never meant to visit divine wisdom and then come back with no change. You were meant to walk as an expression of divine wisdom. In your choices, your boundaries, your habits, your love, your rest. Allowing divine wisdom to live through you is to ask, show me through God's eyes. It is to give that time to be in stillness, to be in silence. It is to close your day, not drag a day into another day. And it is to hold your heart in reverence of love, compassion, kindness. And before I close, I thank you for being with me this evening, and our visitors from the United States, thank you very much, and Zimbabwe, and every one of you around Australia. Keep an eye out for information on the spiritual page, and also for the Sacred Healers Retreat, which I'm holding in Queensland in March. 2 days of exceptional transformation for you. 2 days of amazing wisdom from Lord Jesus Christ, Goddess Isis, Saint Germain, and Archangel Raphael, all brimming in God's light. May you be brimming in God's light and feel his presence, whether you are finishing the day, beginning the day, or in the middle, wherever you are. So thank you all very much. I shall see you again next week.